Let's get to our panel this morning. Anne Gibson, the New Zealand Herald property editor, and Rahul Chopra, the Radio Tarana host, is in the studio. Good morning.
Morning.
Good to have you both here. Let's start with this obviously big meeting tomorrow in Alaska. This is Trump and Putin. And you know, it's a little odd because you've got a guy who the International Criminal Court says is likely responsible for war crimes. There's an arrest warrant for him, meeting with the leader of the free world, you know, to try and sort out a crisis that's on the other side of the ocean.
I was talking to Garth Bray about this just before I came on, and he had that lovely phrase, kanohi ki te kanohi, the beautiful Te Ao Māori kupu that means basically face to face. So the idea here is, you know, Putin and Trump coming face to face to talk about this. And when I looked at publicity before the show, what it was about really was the idea of potentially a ceasefire, a 30-day ceasefire, and also the idea that, you know, there could be some progress made and that there is some hope from that meeting, from I guess the most powerful people in the world coming together to talk about some hope of resolving just a terrible situation.
Yeah. I mean, this is Trump we're talking about, who was going to end this in 24 hours. You know, so I am a little bit skeptical because I think sometimes it's more optics, not outcomes. And with Zelensky actually not being there in the first meeting, there is some worries, I would say, about which way is this going to go, and are they going to miss out? So, yeah, I'm skeptical, but something is better than nothing because we do need to end this soon.
Yeah, some talking better than no talking. School uniforms. There's a story out of Papanui High School in Christchurch where the year 13, so that's your oldest kids in school, the oldest year level, they get to wear mufti, as I did. Did you wear mufti?
No, I had uniform.
See, we got to wear mufti, which we all thought was great. Probably kept some of us in school. But in Papanui High School, they want to get rid of it, not for the reasons you might think, because there's, you know, parents cracking down, but they're worried about safety in the school. What do you make of that?
I did hear about the story. I think safety is one of the things the principal is talking about, but I'm a supporter of uniform in the sense of pride and you know, the discipline it brings around it. I think year 13s can get some sort of reward. Maybe they wear Leavers hoodies, they wear a different colour jumper, which people have done before. But safety, I would say, I mean, we're talking about, yeah, you go to a mall, you can't tell in break time who's who. I don't know, I'm not really buying into just that aspect of it. I think there's more to it than that. But if you say, yeah, well, it is difficult for a lot of parents to get fancy clothes and then it becomes about fashion and not uniform. But is it going to change student outcomes? I don't think so.
No, and probably not, is it?
Well, I went to Mercy College in Timaru, which is now called Roncalli College, and we had uniforms.
Yeah.
But I was talking to a colleague this morning who was reminding me about treks and all these different types of shoes, and you were somewhat denoted by, you know, the socio-economic aspect of the household was shown somewhat in the footwear. But yeah, I found the story a little bit funny because the story was about the fact that it was very hard for the teaching staff to work out who were the pupils and who were the trainee teachers, because you were pointing out before, Rahul, they could be not far away from each other in terms of age.
No, some of them just kind of leave high school, they do a bachelor's degree, so and then they go to teachers college. So maybe 21, 22 versus an 18-year-old, and kids are quite big these days, some of them, and they look older, so older kids. So easily a young female teacher would look younger than a year 13 male rugby boy, like, definitely.
And if you've got, because the other point they made is about this, just the security, like safety around the school gate. If you've got people coming in from outside and you can't differentiate between your students and the outsiders, that is potentially quite an important issue as well.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go to Queenstown. Possible solution to the housing crisis there, Anne, what's going on?
This is Simplicity Living, which is part of the big KiwiSaver scheme. What they're doing is building 600 apartments. They're build to rent, so we know big housing crisis in Queenstown now. They're building them at Ladies Mile. I have readers coming back to me now saying the difference between Ladies Mile, Frankton, Remarkables and Queenstown. So it's like differentiating, and certainly differentiating in terms of traffic and congestion. So a lot of concerns about what this massive development, I don't know, $500 million development will do in terms of making those roads busier, but a really interesting build-to-rent scheme, the biggest build-to-rent scheme in New Zealand. There's nothing of that scale. I think Te Reputa, by simplicity, is about 297 units, and it's nearly finished on the Mount Wellington Highway. So Sam Stubbs and Shane Brearley, pretty much the best that you can get in the, in that sort of investment and property collab field, coming together, very powerful combination to build this massive amount of apartments, housing, that is purposefully tailored towards tenants. So something we haven't seen in New Zealand really, the build to rent scene, where you get communal spaces and workspaces and good landscaping, hopefully, to really give something that is fit for purpose to be rented.
Well, Queenstown is the right place to be doing it, of course, but it requires a mindset shift, doesn't it? When you talk about, first of all, the fact that they're not houses, they're apartments, and then it's the communal living spaces. For Kiwis, it is a bit of a mind shift that you need to get your head over, get your head through.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I was also thinking about built to rent, but doesn't mean it's cheaper, because there's always the cost comes in, like, is it cheaper to rent? And also my other thing was, when I read the story, was it doesn't solve the home ownership issue of the locals, which they're talking about, where they can't afford, and we're talking about one of the biggest housing crises in terms of Queenstown. And so, but some action is better than no action. I think it will be welcomed, and I think it will have some solutions. I mean, nobody else is doing much.
The mayor on Queenstown talked about it as a game changer, and we know we need the worker accommodation. These workers are not able to buy homes in such an expensive area. So a fit-for-purpose rental stock, that is maybe, I don't know, at least double glazed, maybe more, with solar panels, lots of good things going for it.
Lots of insulation.